One of the biggest concerns people have with AI, will your kids be using AI text generators to write their papers for school?
Well, according to some hometown students and professors we talked to, it's already happening. But how big is the problem? CBS 58's Frank Healy has more.
I use it to sum up articles if I don't feel like reading it.
I use it just for idea generation.
I do have friends who have used it. I don't know quite a lot about it.
Everyone uses ChatGPT. I don't think everyone uses it to necessarily cheat or write their own papers, but like, it is an insane resource.
Around the cafeteria at UW-Milwaukee, everyone seems to have something to say about it. But what do they know about people using ChatGPT to cheat?
Personally, I use it to just like, if I'm doing a paper, I'll have it look up the information for me, and then I'll like double check it against Wikipedia or something, and then put it in a plagiarism checker, make sure it's not like, oh yeah, you just straight up stole this from the internet.
Senior Anders Nelson says he thinks that's where it ends for most students.
Do have friends, however, who will just be like, oh, here's the whole paper, submit it, and as far as I'm aware, they haven't got caught.
Associate Professor of English and the Director of the Foundations and Rhetoric program at Marquette University, Lily Campbell, says in her first-year writing course,
I would say I've had about 5 times at this point where I've called students out on it. Usually it's students that are using it wholesale, right? And so it becomes really clear really early. There'll be a word that you just don't hear out of an 18-year-old's mouth in the first sentence of a paper.
Campbell says right now there's no policy in place for how to deal with this situation. So, considering these are freshmen,
they're getting a feel for, like, is this going to work for me?
She treats it as a learning experience.
Hey, this doesn't seem like you're writing. I suspect this might be AI. It's not going to get a great grade. It's not doing well in the assignment. Would you like to give it another shot? And that's been kind of my level of intervention at this point.
UW-Milwaukee senior Gao He says while she doesn't use ChatGPT,
And I mean, I guess if you're dumb enough to use it and then not like look it over or edit it or like proofread it or anything like that, that's on you. If you cheat well and you get away with it, it takes a level of skill.
Something Campbell recognizes. If you're using ChatGPT the way most students use it, summarizing text, generating ideas, or explaining ideas in new ways,
it just gives me a little bit more detailed answers than something like Google would give me.
You're using your critical thinking skills when you go to write.
And so I think that the rhetorical skills that we teach in first-year writing are still going to be really relevant going forward.
Campbell says calling it out when she sees it is a helpful way to combat things in the now.
Students I've called out have apologized and said, you know, all my friends were doing it, right? And so being able to go back to those friend groups too and say like, hey, this isn't working great is also useful.
Longer term, she says assignments need to be designed so it's teaching those critical thinking skills, something she says ChatGPT has a harder time with.
Thinking about what kinds of assignments work better or worse for this, right? Like what kinds of writing is AI really good at? Because that's the kind of stuff we don't want to assign.
Because these students will likely be working in a world where ChatGPT is something they use on the job.
How do we teach skills that are going to be useful for students who might use this on the job in particular ways, but certainly I don't think are going to be able to use it wholesale and not do the job at all?